And we're back. Welcome to Chronicles of Power, our podcast dedicated to the world of power, where I review and break down the latest episode in the Powerverse. My name is Keemie, and we are brought to you by Private Listed, your source for all things music, sports, culture, and entertainment. If you are looking for us, you can find us at Chronicles of Power on Instagram. And if you are looking for visual representation, where you can see my face and my guest's face, you can go to YouTube and look for us at PVTLSTD. Do not forget to please subscribe and also hit that notification bell so that you can see or hear when new episodes come out. Like this, we release episodes every week, and we look forward to hearing from you and seeing your comments. This week, we will be reviewing Force, Power Book for Force, episode 303. Title of the episode is Let's Let the Cops Pass By. There's always a price to pay, written by Anthony Flores. Clap it up for Anthony one time. And directed by Sierra Claude, aka Shooter. Today we have in the house with us, or with me, rather, a friend to the show, someone who is no stranger to the Power universe. We have Mr. Power is Fire, otherwise known as Sam. He runs the biggest, the baddest, the best Power Universe page, Power fan page on these here internets. Let's see. And he has a huge following, and he even has his own podcast. So please don't hesitate in welcoming my friend, my guest, Sam, to the podcast with us. He is a connoisseur of all things power, and I cannot wait. Yes, wave to the people. I can't wait to get his thoughts about some of the news topics that we have for this week, and also about reviewing episode 303 of Force. Now, I know before we started recording, you told me that you actually really liked this episode, so give me a little bit of something, something. Give me a tidbit or something. How were you feeling about episode 303?
I think the episode was amazing. I thought it was perfectly directed. It was very perfectly paced.
Uh-huh.
I have no complaints. It's a couple of characters I want to talk about, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
We
But
Manly
for the
best.
most part, it flow well, was great, a lot of action, great storyline, great character development for sure.
All right. Okay, good. So before we start talking about Force, we do want to get into a little bit of news this week, because if you follow the page on Instagram, and if you don't, you should be, we released some footage of the people from Power Origins this week. So they are filming in New Jersey, Bayonne, New Jersey to be exact. They've started filming for Power Origins, which is being run by good old Sasha Penn, who we know from the original Power and obviously from Raising Kanan. Now, your thoughts on the casting of young Ghost and young Tommy. How do you feel about those two?
I have no complaints. I know the fans have been saying they've been in my DMs, they've been on the post crying and complaining all day about how they look and everything. And I'm just like, well, y'all haven't seen the acting yet. Now, if they put out a scene and the acting is trash, then by all means, you know what I mean? Power fans do not forgive the acting is trash.
I'm with you there. In terms of the look of the characters, how are you feeling about it?
I mean, we were talking about before about the aesthetics as far as like everything kind of coming together. I think on camera it might look a little bit better. I was not too big of a fan of the outfit. First off, if we want to be a little controversial today, I'm tired of Kanan and the Timbs.
Hey, it's a New York
That
thing.
like get it? I get it was a staple for that time period, but bro, it was other shoes at that time.
And he wore his Jordan 5. He wore other shoes in Raising
Yeah, I
Kanan.
I get it. I get it. But every other episode, this man is wearing Timbs. I get it, but it's just like, whatever. I just say get a little creative, more creative with the shoes.
They had other shoes for him. And this is just one episode, one scene that we see being filmed, and it is a New York staple. If I look to my right or my left, I bet you I can find a pair of Timbs right now beside me.
And listen, and that's fine. I feel like with Lou, they threw on the Sub Zeros here and there. It's like,
Yes.
okay,
But
I see what you doing there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But so I mean, if I can be so blunt, just by looking at the first few images of Power Origins, I know it's not the same costume designer. That does not have Sege's name written on it at all. It looks very different from what we were accustomed to in Raising Kanan. Maybe this they're going for a more grungy look, or maybe this is just one scene, who knows? And we could be speculating just for speculation's sake, but it looks a lot different. But if I had to make a dying guess, I know for sure that Sege didn't had no parts of that. The look is just completely different.
I wouldn't say that because remember the '90s was a little bit different, like the way the stuff was tailored, the way that people wore it. So, 2000s, if you look at a lot of the
But we don't
2000s
know if we're in the
pictures,
2000s yet.
if possible, if there is actually a time jump, if we're going like that far into the '90s and going into the 2000s, that would make sense because the clothes they still had very nice clothing, but it fit different. It just had a different look to it in the 2000s.
Yeah, and what we saw doesn't look like it. Either way, doesn't
Yeah,
look like any of
I
it.
don't know if people was wearing trench coats in the 2000s, but maybe. I wasn't when I was a kid, I know what I wore, but it is what it is.
Well, so tell me, do you think that there's gonna be a significant time jump for Power
Absolutely.
Origins? Okay.
Yes.
Why?
I think it needs to be a significant time jump because if you don't want it to have if you wanted to have the feel of a different show, then you don't want to just kind of start it from where Raising Kanan left off. You know, it don't make sense because if the story is based on Tommy and Ghost, nobody wants to see Ghost and Tommy as damn lookouts. You can have some flashback scenes of them doing that, but for that to be the show and it built around that, nobody cares.
I do think there has to be some sort of jump because honestly, the characters that they casted, they don't look that young at all. They don't look to be teenagers. And granted, we know that Hollywood they used to make 30-year-olds play teenagers, which is fucking creepy.
I mean, they do
But
it on Euphoria.
but they all the time. Yeah, that's it's still kind of creepy though, right? But
Yeah,
whatever the case is, there was something that you mentioned about Raising Kanan. For Raising Kanan season 4, we're at about 1993. Season 5 hasn't come out yet. We don't know where we're going to be once Raising Kanan actually ends at the end of season 5. So, could there be a significant time jump? Maybe. There could be 2 to 3 years. It just depends on where we leave off with actual where Kanan leaves off with. We find whether we find out who from his family survives, even if there are survivors. Do you guess that there are going to be any carryovers from Raising Kanan to Power Origin?
I doubt it. If I'm stars, I am pretty much bringing in an entire new cast. With the exception of Kanan, I think that was smart to keep the same Kanan, because we're familiar with them. So it will bring some familiarity to his role, and we can kind of see the development of his character and how he's changed in the 10 years. Because I guess Origin's is gonna start off with him basically running shit.
It looks like it. Even like the his posture as the actor's posture as the character, he looks to be in control when he's talking to the actor who plays Ghost. He doesn't seem to be new to this. And we're only speculating. He seems pretty established just from the little scenes that we do see. However, I hate to burst some bubbles for you guys, but I doubt that they're going to have any carryovers from Raising Kanan. If there's anything that we've learned from the cancellation of Ghost and subsequently the cancellation or the ending of Force, they not bringing none of these actors over to no new show. The whole reason why they starting a new show is for them to save money. The reason why they canceled those shows is because those shows were too expensive. And the best way for them to save money is to start something new. You think they have to pay these new actors the same things that they had to pay the actors that have already renegotiated their contracts from other seasons? Hell no.
Well, maybe from other seasons, no, but it depends on who they bring in because I know for a fact that it's not going to be all new characters. It will be a legend or two in this show for
Yeah,
sure.
one or two.
Whether it's somebody that whoever plays the father, or if the father's even in it at 2002, I think Ghost Father was already gone by then.
But that's still a new character. It's still someone that we don't have exposure to. The whole point of this and the whole reason it's like any other company where you have restructuring and you have a reorganization, they're gonna bring in new people that they don't have to pay the same amount of money to and that they don't have to give the same salary to who were
Right,
already
but I'm saying
established.
it depends on who those people are. Because let's just say, hypothetically, I'm not saying that Idris Elba is gonna be in the show, but hypothetically, if they brought in Idris Elba, ain't no cutting, they ain't budget.
They're not bringing in Idris Elba. You
No,
know
I
that
know
already.
that, but well, in one of the shows, he went on one of the shows, but not that show. Maybe not Power, but
Yeah. Not power.
they gonna bring in some legends. I'm telling you, somebody's gonna be in it because I doubt they just let a whole new cast carry the show. It's gonna be
Why do
very
you
hard to
doubt
do.
that? They did it with Raising Kanan. They
No, they
did
didn't
it with
because
Power.
Raquel Patina was first off, Patina is a Tony Award winning actress,
Yes.
and she was in the Hunger Games, and she was on Madam Secretary.
She
This
wasn't
woman had a nice little resume.
she has a keyword, a nice little resume. She's not do you think Patina is on the same well, Patina is a great actress. That's not what we're debating here. We're just saying that they're not going to get a household name to or a marquee actor for these new shows, which is why they have casted people like Charlie Mann and what was the other guy's name? Spence?
Well,
What
they
the
did
last
have Omar Epps. They did have Omar Epps
Yeah, and then they killed him off.
after 3 seasons.
Okay. Was he number 1 on the call sheet? No, 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 no. I'm not saying because to
He
me,
wasn't number one on the call
he
sheet, no,
wasn't
but
number 1
he
on the
was
call
number
sheet.
4 for sure.
Yeah, but he's listen, take my stupid advice here, right, guys? Take my
So you
stupid
think they about to have a whole new cast with all young?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Nah.
they'll do like you said. They'll have 1 or 2 OGs in there. They'll have their Omar Epps type there. They'll cast someone. They may have maybe it'll be Wood Harris. We haven't seen him yet. His brother was on Game
Imagine.
of Yeah, I would love
You
if
think,
Wood
well, here it's gonna
Harris.
be cheap?
No, I'm not saying that he's going to be cheap, but they're not gonna have Will Smith. They're not gonna have I'm talking about, like, those
No, no, no.
caliber right,
Will Smith
I'm
is
just talking
crazy.
about those caliber of actors. Get someone they will get an OG just to, like, steady the ship, so to speak. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same thing for why they would have Woody on a show, right? Surrounded by someone like Lavelle Adams Gray, by Latoya Toledo. Like, they're
Right.
gonna have someone there to steady the ship. Don't
Right,
get me
right, right.
wrong about that. But they're also gonna be starting anew because this whole thing is about money. And you know that ever since the writers' strike, they've cut so much, but we're getting too much into the nitty-gritty. But
Right, right, right.
I do wanna warn you guys that don't expect to be seeing a whole bunch of familiar faces when they start this show. And because of that, you guys should already be expecting what's going to happen in the show that we're actually supposed to be reviewing, which is Force. So keep all of those tidbits in mind, right? About what we just said, about how they're restructuring, how TV shows pretty much run. They're going to have new people. And which brings us to our other news story that I do want to cover quickly as soon as people stop murdering each other outside.
Oh my god.
I don't know what's happening, but like the police are on one today. Plus, it's Friday, which is why I don't like recording on Fridays. If I could record like earlier, it would be so much better. But anyway, keep going. So maybe we should save this for after we review the episode. But so I'll give it to you now, and then we could talk about it later. I do want to
Okay.
talk about what you think is going to happen after Force. So after Force completes, after we get season 3 in the books. How do you think we are going transition Force into a new show? They have already told us that there is more story to tell for Tommy. They pretty much let the cat out the bag that spoiler warning that Tariq is pretty much going to be joining forces with Tommy. It hasn't been confirmed. But we're not stupid, right? Like, we saw the green screen episode or little clip after the ending of Ghost where Tariq is on the phone, and we can only assume that it is Tommy. And the last time that you and I spoke about this, we did say that I think that he's talking to Tommy and he is going to go to Chicago. So I'll hold off my questions on that for you until we finish reviewing this week's episode of Force. But I do want you to keep it in the back of your mind and get all of your thoughts in order so that we can talk about that because I have a lot of things to say about Tariq possibly going to Chicago because it doesn't make sense.
Shout out to Tariq. I think it
Alrighty.
makes perfect sense, but hey, that's just me.
Why? They got
No, no, no. We'll talk about it after.
okay, because I'm like, they got big, big killers in Chicago. And what is little Tariq gonna do if they got those big people out there? But anyway, let me chill out. Let me chill. Alrighty. So we open up this episode with the Ortegas sending a very loud message. They killed a member of the DSDs, and Izzy is furious, right? He complains to Tommy and Diamond about that. Diamond finding the dead body outside. They know that the guy is from the DSDs. This is obviously retaliation for what happened with Mateo and Tommy making the big, big mistake of carrying the head inside and showing this message of what he intended to be power, but is really kind of messing up the dynamic between himself and Diamond, himself and the coalition, because these people are like, you didn't have to do that. You're starting a war with people that is only going to lead to more of us dying. So, thoughts on the opening part of the episode, Sam?
I love the clear message that was sent. They have to build up this Tommy and Diamond not getting along situation. Obviously, we're probably going to talk about it, but you know how the episode ended. Like all of those little small things is going to keep building up, building up, building up, and then they're eventually just going to say, "Yeah, we're done with each other."
Yeah.
So that was like the first. That was like the first check mark. Like, oh, all right, Tommy. All right, let's. Yeah, you adding more to our plate. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they have been building this for the past two episodes as well because Diamond is frustrated with Tommy and Tommy just overplaying his hand in some parts. And Diamond is just like, what are you doing? Like, you're doing too much. And he has to keep his brother Jannard at bay because Jannard, and I talk about this pretty much all the time when I talk about Force, Jannard is the Kane of this show, right? And from our perspective or from the viewer's perspective, people are like, he's just trying to help you guys. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to make money. He knows how to bring people together. He's there to help, right? But from his perspective, he's like, this is a stranger. I don't know this man. You don't know this man. Why are you just welcoming him in with open arms and taking his word for everything? Which is what was Cade's beef with Tariq. He was like, we don't know this little boy. And I've been doing
Mhm.
this all along. Why does he get credit for things and why are you revering him for things that I have been doing all along? Which is Jannard's beef, right? You
Right.
were locked up for 15 years, almost 2 decades, and I was out here running this without him, without you, and without anyone's backing. And we've made millions upon millions of dollars. We have structured CBI in such a way that we didn't need to have a coalition. But that's probably where his blind spot is because the coalition is a good thing in theory, right? Because we're bringing
Yeah.
together people who normally wouldn't work together, who would be trying to kill each other or fighting for territory that they're not really capitalizing on because they're not together. And with the coalition, because they are coming together, they can make more money and they have more leverage in terms of fighting against the cartel or standing together against what the cartel can do to them if they were separate. Hopefully, Jannard sees that now, but we all have to understand that Jannard does have a point here, right?
He
But I
does.
say all of that to say, Diamond kind of understands Jannard's point, and he's seeing it more and more now with the slight bickering with Tommy because of the Maria situation, because Tommy is killing people all willy-nilly. And he's just like, you're making a lot of trouble for us considering the plans and the goals that we have. So there is a riff already forming, but he tries to save face, he meaning Tommy tries to save face with Diamond by saying, listen, I'm only telling him what he needs to hear, just talking about Izzy, so that we can keep this ball rolling. We make sure that we still keep Ortega at bay, who is locked up in prison, by the way. And we're gonna make sure that people know not to mess with us. Like we are men of our word, and we will kill you if you come in between us.
Mhm.
In terms of, let me see, there was something else that you said that I wanted to talk about in terms of their partnership. I think you're absolutely right when you say that they are setting it up for them to break apart, because that's the only thing that can happen at this point. That's something that they have done within all of the power shows. Once you see that there is an alliance formed, if the alliance is going good, eventually they are going to have to break apart. We saw that with Tommy and Ghost, but then they did come back together. The only thing is, because Force is ending, I doubt that these two are going to be able to reconcile in time by the end of the episode, because right now they're building it up so that they can go their separate ways. And it seems like that's going to be the impetus to make Jannard and Diamond get a little bit closer, because in order for him to break away from Tommy, he has to be getting closer to someone else, and I believe that it will be his brother. Yes?
Wait, in order for you said Diamond, you saying?
Yeah, Diamond. In order for
Yeah,
Diamond to
yeah, yeah,
break
yeah.
from Tommy, he has to be
Well,
moving
they
closer
proved last episode,
to
like
Janard.
that he's trying to push Jannard to kind of take that leader role a little bit, like come in into the fold. But again, I really I get why Jannard dislikes Tommy, but at the same time, it's just like he has something that he likes about Tommy, has to, because he literally could have took Tommy out last season.
Yeah.
He literally had a clear shot when they was in that warehouse going against the Serbs, and which is so funny that Tommy always finds his way to work with the Serbs again and again.
All the time. Every season. Every show. He's gonna be with a serve.
Like, bro, oh like they every time we walk in, they ready to kill him, and he's like, "Wait, hold up,
Hold
I
up.
got something for y'all." And they like, "Okay, let's hear it." Like, what, bro? Kill him.
We get to the serve, let's talk about Tommy's other plan, right? And
Mhm.
because of what's happening with the DSDs, which is who Izzy's crew is affiliated with, that's who was killed in the beginning of the episode, just in case you guys weren't clear. Because if I'm being honest, I did have to watch the episode a second time to figure out who the hell was killed. Because I was like, what's going on here? But yeah, so the guy that we saw in the beginning of the episode, he's from the DSDs. And it just so happens that before we get to the Serbs, Tommy's bright idea is like, okay, well, we need to vie for the United Kings. And Diamond is like, how we gonna get the United Kings? Like they're already with the insane princes. Like we can't. How we gonna do this? And then we find out that they already had a roundtable meeting. They don't like what Tommy is doing. Tommy is already making enough noise and enough trouble for them to be like, listen, this was a unanimous decision. We don't want no problems with you. And Tommy's like, hold on, guys, right? We, if you don't get it from us, who you gonna get it from? You're not gonna have any protection. You're not gonna have any alliances. And you're definitely not going to have any money. And yes, for sure, not going to have any products. So what are you going to do? And the guy is like, what's with you? See, even if we stay here with you in Chicago, we still got to worry about our people back in Mexico. So all this stuff you saying right here sound good. Sound all right. But I don't want no smoke with the cartel in Mexico. Chicago is one thing, right? Like I can deal with this. But my
Right.
family back in Mexico, I'm not there with them. And we can't deal with that. So we out. We out. And Tommy's just like, all right. Good decision on their part, because now we know. So we later found out that Miguel, he's no slouch. He still has significant reign over his territory, because we find out that he still has territory within the north and the southwest regions of Chicago, and that does include the United Kings. They don't want anything to do with these other people. They're going to stay with the insane princes, and that's that on that. This is where Tommy's idea of, you know what? I'm gonna go to good old faithful. I'm gonna go to the Serbs. The Serbs, they gonna help me out. They gonna help a brother out every
And
every
they
time,
always do.
and they always do. And what do the Serbs do for Tommy? What do they do? They come through with clutch information. They come back and he says, I'm not gonna kill you this time. Meanwhile, it's like 15 to 20 people in the room and they got guns all drawn on Tommy. He comes in, he says, oh, look, I'm not strapped because I knew the Serbs, my friends, they not gonna kill me this time, right? I'm gonna come in with a little peace offering with a big black bag full of God knows what. And they gonna help me, right? So he comes in and he comes with the big black bag and they say, and they point the gun at his face and everybody's ready to shoot and ready to kill. And then he goes, well, I do have some information that I can give to you. Ortega, his uncle is here. His uncle's name is Luis Ortega. And it just so happens in the Power Universe, I know where Luis Ortega is staying. So I am going to come with you to come meet Luis Ortega. And we going to get him. And that's going to send the message to Ortega that we need to be sent. So what do? They put on their boots. They put on their Timbs, okay? They strap up those Timbs, right? They lace them up. And because they're not from New York, they lace them up tight. Lace the Timbs up tight. And they go on a little trip. We're going on a trip on a little drug ship going through the shy. Kill some. So then they stomp through the shop, right? And then they get to Luis Ortega. And what do when they get there? They go, knock, knock, let us in. We're here to kill you. And what happened? They opened the door. They opened the door. Stop, y'all. They opened the door and they throw Luis Ortega off of the fire escape.
I ain't lie, that scene was gangster. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay. So remember when so
Well,
Tommy
Tommy known for, throwing
Tommy
somebody off a ba this time, no bubble wrap.
bubble wrap. Oh my god. You know what's so funny? Remember so the bubble wrap scene, that person was Damon Dash's brother who he threw off the in the original Power. The guy that he threw off the scene with threw off the roof with the bubble wrap. That was Damon Dash's brother. The actor was Damon Dash's brother. But whatever the case is, this time Luis Ortega didn't went over the fire escape and died and was thrown off by Tommy. And that was supposed to send
He
the
was
message to Ortega.
severely injured, severely.
Severely injured. Yes, we saw the blood leaking from his head. So that sends the message to Ortega. And I do want to wrap up this Ortega stuff because we are skipping around a little bit, but I do want to get this stuff done. So then what happened, Sam? They send the message to Ortega. And then I believe it is, hold on, let me just go through my notes a little bit. I know that they eventually call Ortega, or I think it's Miguel who calls Ortega and says, why are you keeping Tommy alive? W- What is the reason why he's still out here?
Well,
And
that was after they chopped the finger off
wait,
like a
we gonna
piece of
get there, we
cake.
gonna get there, we gonna get there, we gonna get there, right? So we gonna get to the finger. We gonna get to the finger because I want to talk about the finger when we start talking about Big Bertha and Miguel reconciling with Maria. I do think it's important to go over the call right now because the first question I had as to why Tommy is still out there after he threw the person off the fire escape. The first thing I was like, how is Tommy still alive? Like there's only but so much plot armor you can have. And Ortega answers it
Well,
immediately.
Tommy's a cartoon character.
Definitely. He is like we could throw acne bombs at Tommy and he's gonna live. But the answer was that he wants to get to him himself. And I'm just like, what? Why? There's so many other people that can try to do this. But to be fair, so many people have tried to take out Tommy since the start of the season. And we are only on episode 3, people. And Ortega wants to have the kill himself. So before we start
Listen,
asking,
Jason made
listen,
Ghost and
please,
Tommy come up with their own plan
to kill
to
each other.
break the 70 out of jail to kill her herself.
um,
And that was crazy.
child. So
Do you not remember that?
no, I remember. I'm just saying before because I would go off the rails if I were to say because the reason why I brought up the fire escape and all that stuff because I'm just like, how is Tommy still alive? How? But I know why he's still alive because of plot armor and because Ortega says he wants to do it himself. So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back through the episode because we do still have some other people to talk about because we do have to talk about Miguel. I do want to talk about Vic and I do want to talk about Jannard and Diamond's suicide mission for DMACC, but that will leave till the end because I know that we have I know that part will leave to the end. But let's talk about the Flints, and then we'll talk about Miguel and Maria. So let's talk about the Flints. So we see that our boy Vic,
New love interest alert. Let's go with his wife.
that's his real life wife, right? I'm bugging.
Real life.
That's his real life wife. Okay, I thought I was bugging for a second because you
No,
didn't
that's
answer.
real
I'm
life wife.
like, that's his real life wife, right? I thought that was his wife.
No, that's
Okay,
yeah, that's real life wife. Yeah.
yeah. So his real that's probably why the chemistry was
From
there
Good Luck
because they
Charlie.
yeah. Well, good luck, Charlie. Yes. But okay, so that's probably why the chemistry was there. Because sometimes with some of these love scenes, they give me the ick and they kind of make me cringe. But you can tell that these people kind of like each other. But yeah, so whatever the case is, she
Yeah.
initially she turns him away. And Vic is thinking, oh my God, I cannot take this L right now because I need you because I need the information on Stacey so that I can take it back to Tommy so that they don't kill me. So she says, I don't need you. Your one night stand was enough for me. That's enough, sir. Thank you. And he's like, damn it. So then he goes back to Tommy. Heartbroken. So he goes back to Tommy. He was like, Tommy, you making me look crazy out here.
Heartbroken, bro.
Heartbroken. Tommy, you making me look crazy out here on these streets. You giving my clubs to the Albanians. You making me look stupid out here. And Tommy's just like, dum, da, dum, 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 dum. He's like, you got to do what you got to do. I don't care what you saying. So he comes back. Remember, he looks through all of her stuff in the apartment. He finds tickets for West Side Story. And where does Vic end up? Vic ends up at the play, in the theater, at West Side Story, at the bar, looking debonair, saying, oh, fancy seeing you here. and then, and then they hook up again. And he's just like, and she says, yeah, that press conference was so bad. And he was like, oh, you're talking about Stacey Marks? Yeah. Oh, you don't happen to have $1 million laying around, do you? Light bulb, right? I know somebody that got a
I was just
million
like,
dollars.
bro, she's just running her mouth. My goodness, pillow
You
talking.
chat too much. You don't got $1 million laying around, do you? So then what he does, light bulb, he goes, let me call another drug dealer friend who got a little vendetta against Stacey. He's like, hey, I know somebody that got $1 million, and they told me that his name is Tommy Egan. So, Tommy, this will be a good
Yeah, I'm not
play
gonna
for
lie.
you.
That's gonna be a crazy storyline at the end.
My gosh, poor
Her
Stacey.
biggest donor is her biggest donor is the person she's trying to lock up. It's crazy. That was great writing right there.
That was a good one. That was a good one. So then after that, right? They let me bring it back a little bit because I do want to talk about Stacey. And Stacey,
Who?
Sta-
Who?
it's Stacey. Stop playing with me.
You know we don't like Stacey Marks over here. She blocked
No,
me.
no, I like Stacey because Stacey came through in her red suit and her shoulders, like her shoulder pads was like up here, and she came through and she was like, huh? Got a press conference to go to. So she goes to her press conference and she announces her run for mayor. I'm sorry that you were blocked. But the actress, right? The actor on the show, the character on the show rather, uh she does have the press conference. And at the press conference, they let slip that she does have a pending divorce coming. So you tell me, if
Let
you
slip. Let slip.
listen, we're gonna get to that because they
That was crazy.
your campaign manager asked you, "Hey, what's going on with Bobby? How is this gonna play out here?" And you said, "Oh no, Bobby's playing ball. We good. Ain't no problems over here." But then how does a reporter know that he filed for divorce, but the people, your campaign manager, wasn't able to find that out? The reporter can drop a dime in the in the press conference saying, "Hey, what about your husband from CPD? And he just filed for divorce. How's that gonna look?" So donors are pulling out. Her credibility is shot because people love to see a married person because apparently that communicates that there is stability there. Everyone else knows this but your campaign manager. You didn't think to tell them that? Did you think that it just wasn't gonna come up? And she's just like, she being Stacey. Oh no, Bobby's just playing a little hard right now. He's gonna be okay. I know I'ma just call his bluff.
No, Bobby gone.
Go on, Stacey. Bobby
Like,
go.
that man is out of there. He asked her last episode to her face, "Is this for publicity?"
Tell him,
And she
child.
could have literally
Tell him.
said, "No, I love you," and called it a day. He was going. She's homo. She gonna act. She gonna go silent. Bro, you just answered this question.
Well, I kind of respect that she didn't lie.
No, I rather her lied. Save your marriage.
Lady, save your marriage or your
Right.
political ambitions. Lie.
You rather tell the truth and then lose your husband? Come on now.
Campaign and your
And donors.
and
That's all
donor.
right. Tommy got her. Tommy got her though. She need money, so Tommy got her. Tommy gonna love to get that call.
Don't you think it's crazy that he left that on voicemail though? Like, ugh. Hey, alrighty. But so after Stacey, there is something else that happens with Stacey, but I'll leave that. Just let's bookmark that. As a matter of fact, let me put a little asterisk beside it because I do want to talk about that last thing that we find out about Stacey. And let's talk about Miguel and Maria real quick. So Miguel and Maria,
Mhm.
they have made up. And even though Maria was given explicit instructions to just go to work and come back to Tommy's house because of what's happening outside. And she is like, well, you think you're the only gangster I know? Do you think that I've grown up around this life for all of my life and you think the only person that I know is you and that the only way I know how to operate is under your rules, under your roof? No. Imma go talk to my brother, Imma smooth things out with him, and we're gonna be okay. But she also lets Tommy know that, "Hey, if he gets out of line, I'm gonna Imma take care of him." What does that mean? Rhea's a gangster now? I
I
mean,
don't. We actually don't know what Maria's went through for real. You know what I mean? She probably killed somebody before. We never know.
she is a nurse.
Yeah. I mean, Shanti was clearly a killer before because she was out here toting a gun like she do that shit all the time. Same with DMACC. I mean, DMACC last season he killed that boy no problem.
Diamond. No, I can't even say it because in the preview, because you don't watch the previews for the next episode, right?
Absolutely not.
I know you told me that before, but Diamond said something that made me bust out laughing in the preview for next episode. So I'm gonna keep it to myself. But he pretty much said what you just said. Either way,
Mm.
so Maria
Wait,
and
about Shanti or about
no, not
DMACC?
about DMAC. He said it about DMAC. What
Oh,
you
about
just said,
DMACC. Oh, about
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What you just said about Shanti, he said about DMAC. So, but all of that aside, we know that Miguel and Maria, they're on better terms right now. And Tommy's like, he hid you away. He tried to keep you from me. Why would you be trying to make up with this person? But Tommy is also not remembering that this is her brother. She knows this person and she wants to have some sort of family. And Miguel, too, right? Because they killed his mother. She's the only family that he has left. We see that he has like a love interest now, the girl that they introduced in the scene. So, but that's not enough. We know that that person is not going to be around for a very long time. It's the last season. I'm only guessing here, but I know that this person is not going to be there for a very long time. But it is good for them to have some sort of family situation locked in terms of Miguel and Maria, so that
Mhm.
we don't have to worry about them two beefing along with Tommy beefing with Miguel over all of the territories that they have to split for Che. Okay. In terms of the thing that I wanted to bring up about Stacey before we start talking about Jannar, DMAC, and can you hear this?
Kind of, but not really.
Okay, because I'm like,
And Claudia, don't forget about Claudia.
I'm not gonna forget about Claudia. So because Claudia is gonna tie into what we're talking about right now. Actually, you know what? Let's do Claudia and then we'll go back to Stacey. So Claudia, ay, ay, ay. uh, Claudia gets found out by Ortega. He knows that she's playing double agent for Tommy and for him. They take her protection away, and then they have the scene where she gets the phone call from Ortega's people saying that, listen, we know that you're working with Tommy. We're not going to give you any more protection. But I do have a question, and maybe you can bring light to this for me. When she finds out that they're no longer going to be protecting her, we find her back in the laundry room and everyone turns sides. They end up helping her. Why does that happen?
So do you remember when what's the girl's name that she's messing with now? What's her girlfriend name?
I just call her Cloudy.
Yeah, so Cloudy
That's her.
basically came to the jail. Yeah, but well, basically she came to the jail, and when they was having that conversation through the phone, she asked her to put money on her books because she was gonna make some moves. Those moves was to pay the people to be her protector because basically she thought to herself, shit, well, she has that spoiled mindset that I can pay more than the next person to do it. You know what I mean? So again, that came in handy. You know, she tapped into her inner Raquel
Yes. So thank
and
you.
said, "Oh, well, I can easily get them to switch on you because all I got to do is pay them more, and that's all she needed."
All I gotta do is throw a little money at the situation and then I'm good to go. Thank you for clarifying that for me. And so, in other words, Cloudy helped out, put some money on her books, and all of those people was like, she's paying me more. I'm making pennies on the dollar with you. So we gonna beat you up. So that was that. So
Right?
now she the big dog in jail.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Claudia, man, she getting them kills in.
Then she shanked her and she's like, I'm gonna show you how to do this. I hated that part, but
No, I love that part. Well, she basically was just like, basically it was good because she's like, well, clearly you couldn't get the job done, so this is how you get the job done. I thought that was fire, actually.
Lord have mercy. I
But at this point, it's not like it's a reach because Claudia is a killer. Like this is like her fourth or fifth body now.
Alright. I coulda did
So
without the line.
you know,
I coulda did without it. Let's let's move away from Claudia because I think that's it for Claudia in terms of this episode because
yeah.
she's okay for now, even without the protection of Ortega.
Well, she about to get out of jail for sure. Next episode, easily.
Yeah, they normally keep them in for until 4 or 5, so I'm curious to see how she's gonna get out, but I think she is in jail
So
in the.
remember when the address was wrong? Basically, they
Wait, so
can't
that's what
hold her now.
what I want to talk about next because we do
Hmm.
find out who is the snitch from inside the organization. Stacey has a talk where Ortega's people want to suppress the evidence that was found in the search because they find out that the address on the warrant was written wrong. And Stacey's like, but I know I had it right. She dictated the address to Sang, and Sang is like, well, I let you read the report. How did you not know that it was wrong? Well, she thought it was right because she knows she gave you the right address, and you wrote the wrong address because you wanted to mess it up purposely. And we find out that Sang is actually working with the Ortega. I was like,
Yeah, that was actually fire. I'm not gonna lie.
I did like that. I did like that.
Yeah,
That was a
I was
good
like,
setup.
damn, I never would have suspected him.
Yeah. I didn't suspect him either. I thought her whole team was clean and it just so happens that they're not. So she's about to get bent over in so many ways between Sang, Tommy possibly being a donor if they do go through with that storyline, her
And Vic
husband,
setting all it up.
Vic setting it all up, her husband leaving her, the mayoral run that may not actually happen because I mean it may happen, but she went from the front runner to the middle of the pack just like that. That's what Ray said. And now she has a mole within her office, and he is setting her up for the kill at this point because he put the wrong address on the warrant. My gosh.
which means everybody get out of jail now.
Everybody's getting out of jail. That's how Ronnie got out of jail. How Ronnie got out. But yeah, so Stacey has a lot of things flying her way. Hopefully we're able to have her on the show this season and she can talk to us about her character and everything that's going wrong and what may possibly go right. So Diamond and Jannard are talking about Ortega and they are trying to figure out a way to get rid of DMACC. So Diamond gets a text from King Kilo, who is locked up in prison, and is like, "Yeah, I have to take out DMACC." And he says, "Sorry, I have to sneeze."
Yep.
Or maybe I don't. It just went away. Okay, so he said,
Bless you.
thank you. So he sends his brother Jannard and says, "You need to tell DMACC that he needs to do this." And they pretty much send DMACC on a suicide mission
That
to
was a
hit.
very smart plan by Jannard.
It was. Or Diamond to hit the 9-7s. Now the 9-7s,
Mhm.
their reputation does precede them because everybody knows that they're pretty much not ones to mess with. And Marshall knows this off rip. When Jannard comes to talk to D-Mac about the plan, Marshall's like, "You can't do that. That's," and Jannard shuts him up because he knows that Marshall is gonna try to talk sense into him, and he's just like, "Listen, you scary. Let me talk to the real killer of the bunch. He the one that's gonna get this done." And we all
The real
knew
killer.
the real killer, right? We all knew that D-Mac wasn't supposed to make it out alive if he was gonna go up against the 9-7s. However, it's Nutty Boy who gets got, and Smiley is left holding the bag because his friend gets killed. So they do go out, they go up against the 9-7. Marshall does back up his friend. He does follow him into the hit, and they end up in a shootout, and Nutty Boy gets killed. News does not get back to Jannard because obviously DMAC can't go calling Jannard because CBI is not supposed to be involved. That was one of the stipulations because he says, "Hey, look,
Mhm.
if you get this done, then we'll let you back into CBI." When Jannard goes back to tell Diamond, "Hey, I only heard about 2 bodies dropping. I don't necessarily know who it is. There's no way that DMAC made it out of that alive." And what did we find out?
D-Mac walks in
Dred's just a
and
swinging.
Jannard damn near shits himself. And Jannard damn near shits himself. He talking about, "Why'd you call me?" Like you care.
They both look like they saw a ghost. He was like, "I think," because John is like, "I think it was him. Had to be him. I didn't hear anything else. It must be him." So then D-Mac is like, "Well, I did what you told me to do. Why would I call you? I can't make things hot. You told me not to implicate you guys. So I had to lay low for a little bit. And now I'm coming to you. And I put on the line for this CBI stuff. How dare you guys not even like they didn't even embrace him and say good job."
Shit, you gotta let him in now.
And that's what they did. They said, "We understand the risk that you took to try to rob the 9-7s and you risk your life and your friend's life. And so yeah, welcome in the CBI. But who is in the back? But who's in
The
the
White
back?
Devil.
Who's in the back after the handshake? The true white devil,
The
right?
White Devil.
Yes, not Claudia, 'cause Claudia is not the white devil. It's really the white devil,
Well, she's also the devil too.
but not the true one. It's really Tommy, because Tommy's in the back.
I think the devil's scared of actual Tommy as well.
Good point. Tommy now. Tommy hears this. Oh man, and then the episode cuts off.
Mind you, wait, hold up. Before you even get to that,
Uh-huh.
Diamond and Jannard is talking dumb loud at the barbershop downstairs. D-Mac should have heard this whole conversation as he came downstairs. But D-Mac all excited and shit.
Cause
He
he
come
like,
around the corner like, yo, don't nobody hear shit. But here go Tommy come down. He hear the whole fucking conversation.
but he was standing in the doorway and heard the whole thing. All right, so predictions from you. How do you think that this is still how is this gonna work out for DMAC once Tommy goes over with Jannard and Diamond what was done and his introduction or his reintroduction
Now,
back into Super.
see that I don't know because I was thinking to myself like, okay, this will make sense because we already seen the scene where he says, "I'm gonna bless you into this life," like, like go like Kanan did for me and Ghost. So we know that happened. So we knew DMAC was definitely not going to die in that scene. But how Jannard is going to talk his way out of this, I don't know. Because eventually he's gonna be like, "Yo, Jannard told me go do this," because Tommy knows it's gonna be a suicide mission. So it's like, how do you forgive that? He basically knows what they did.
So just to clarify, so once they go, you're saying that they're gonna tell Tommy about the whole 9/7 mission, and he's gonna automatically know that.
No,
Right, so
DMAC is gonna tell them about the 9/7 mission. But if Marshall knew it was suicide mission, Tommy definitely know it was.
right, that's what I was saying. So DMAC is going to
Yeah.
tell
So
his Uncle Tommy what mission they sent him on, and he's gonna know that it was a setup. And do you think that excuse me, guys, I'm literally under the weather, but still powering through. That's probably so remember what I asked you earlier. What do you think is gonna be the impetus that's gonna really pull Tommy apart from Diamond? And I think once they
well,
go
it should be
over.
that, or they find out about King Kilo.
Right. So I don't know if he's gonna find out about King Kilo so early because I think that the shift between the Diamond and Tommy dynamic of them still working with each other, they have to make a split at least by mid-season, right? Because we only have 5 more episodes to go. So they have to split either between next episode, has to be next episode, because they've already said they set up the thing with they set up the play with DMAC. If you're saying to me that the suicide mission is so bad and he does know the ramifications of what could have happened with him going up against the 9/7s, then Tommy is going to take this seriously. He's going to say that you sent my nephew on a suicide mission. You know that I don't want him involved in this. And I think it was Jannard who said, Tommy is going to burn the city to the ground over DMAC. Like, he's going to be our biggest problem if he finds out what's happening with DMAC, right? So the split has to be coming next episode. It's either next episode or at the very latest 5. It has to, because you told me yourself that they have to split. It has to happen. And now that he overheard the thing with DMAC, there's definitely a chasm within the relationship. There's no more. They're gonna have to go
That's
their
why I said
separate ways.
he has to tell him about King Kilo at that point. Because how does he get him? How do they get out of that situation when DMAC tell them exactly what when DMAC tells Tommy exactly what happened? How does he get out of that situation without telling him, "Yo, well, we came with this plan because of King Kilo." You see what I'm saying? So that's like a bigger problem. But if they don't tell him about King Kilo still want him dead.
Yeah, I think the latter part. I think that they're not gonna I don't think they're gonna throw all of their cards on the table. I don't think they're gonna tell Tommy about King Kilo because that's still within their back pocket. But I do think they are gonna not necessarily come clean about the killing plot of DMAC, but I do think that they will come clean about them sending him out for the 9/7. How much they tell him, I don't think it's going to be much because within power, we know that if they do tell a truth, there's always some omission or bigger parts of the story that they don't tell. And it always leads to bigger problems in the end because if you know a little bit, you're not going to know the whole story. So I say all of that to
I got
say,
a question for you.
go ahead, tell me.
Okay, so oh no, I'll let you finish. No, you can finish.
Okay. No, well, I said all of that to say I think that episode 4 and episode 5 is going to set up the rest of the season, and we'll definitely see a shift between Tommy and Diamond and Jannard's relationship. I don't think that there'll be much more of a coalition going forward.
1000% agree.
Okay. What was your question for me?
Because they are building.
Yeah, they
I love
are.
the build.
Yeah, it's going quick
Yeah,
too.
I just don't see how they get out of that DMAX situation. Okay, so at this point of the timeline, right? Last episode we got a message from JP basically saying that Kate has got out of jail. Or not out of jail. Jail's crazy. Got out of the
Out of the
hospital. She checked
hospital.
herself out of the hospital, went back to New York. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So at this point in the story, we gotta be going into Ghost episode 307, 308. Because in 309 is when Diana takes the letter. So Tommy has not received that call yet. So
Mhm.
when Tommy does receive the call, a lot of people were saying like if Tariq is to pop up, it would have to be around like episode 9 or 10. But I don't know. I suspect that we get Tommy going back to New York sooner than later. So Tariq might be in a couple of episodes because if they unless they just don't show anything about New York, but I would love to see that perspective of Tommy going and his perspective of that whole situation. How he got there, him walking in and then Tariq popping in from another perspective. You know what I'm saying?
You bring up a good point and call me Glenda because I'm about to burst some bubbles. The Tariq thing, I want everyone to just don't set your hopes up too high because the Tariq thing only came about after they figured out that the show was going to be canceled. He's not going to be in a couple episodes. I think 1, maybe 2, the most. He's not gonna be in a whole bunch of episodes this season, but the timeline is because we are sticklers for story and plot, we always go back to where are we in the story? And whenever I ask the writers of where are we in the story, they never ever give a clear answer. And I do want to commend you because you are right that this is round about the time that Tommy should be leaving to go back to New York
Go to
to
New York.
to
Right.
find Kate to figure out what happened because this is when Diana dresses up as Monet. She gives the letter, and Tommy has to go back and go find them. So this is we're talking about the correlation between season 3 of Power Book 2 Ghosts when he goes back to New York and he finds out that Tasha is out of witness protection. He finds her location and then they have a good group hug and knock Tariq out and he goes back to Chicago.
Right. But hold on now. So at this point of the story, it's like you would have to do a drastic time jump in order to kind of skip through that for then Tariq to then get a call to then meet up later. You see what I'm saying? It's like it would be so simple to just do the flip perspective of Tommy going and doing that whole thing over again. They don't have to do like scene for scene, but it could be kind of like how we had the 5 episodes for
The
Power OG Power, and it was the 5 perspective episodes. It would be nicer to get a perspective episode of Tommy going to New York from his perspective and the things he said, the call that we got because we didn't get we wasn't privy to the call. Maybe we're privy to the call in force
maybe
between Kate saying, "Oh, this is what the letter's saying."
I don't think we're gonna see that. I think what we are gonna see is Tommy making a
It's
call
a
to
shame.
I think we'll see Tommy possibly making a call to Tariq because Tommy has a whole bunch of trouble coming his way, right? We know that he just threw an Ortega over a banister outside the Suge Knight way, but he actually made
Mm.
him land on the ground. We also know that he's going to have some problems with CBI. We also know that he's potentially gonna have more problems because of the things that DMACC has done. We have completely glazed over the fact that DMACC has killed a cop. He didn't only just kill Mad Dog, like, DMACC is doing a lot of things that Tommy is subsequently gonna be held accountable for because he still is your nephew. And if you're going to protect him, that means that your ass is out on the line just as much as his is. In addition to that, I don't see really how Tariq fits in with all of this. And this was something that I was going to hold off until the end of the show to write here. How are they going to make Tariq make sense here?
Easy. I think it's easy to tie in Tariq to the storyline. I just don't see from a Tariq standpoint, not the writer's standpoint, because the writers can make anything happen. I don't see it from a Tariq standpoint why he would jump to then help Tommy when Tommy would not help him with the war. And I get all of the stuff that's going on right now in Chicago, but he literally said, "This is not my war." He told you to your face that he's not going to get involved. So then why would you then go run to Chicago to help him?
Precisely. Great question. Great question. And let's give people some clarity here. So when Tariq asked for Tommy's help, what season was that in? Was that in season 4, the final season? That was
That
in
was season
3?
3.
How was he
It was,
able?
yeah, because it was he needed him to go help him. Remember, because Tommy wasn't in season 4. So he needed him to help him, and
Right, right.
Tommy told
Sorry.
him, like, "This
Uh,
is not my war." Yeah, that was in 310. He was like, "This is not my war. This is
right,
you on your own."
310, 310. And Jesus. Oh boy. So yeah. And now
So that's what I'm saying.
he's
That's a long time before Tariq gets that call. And that was even a time jump because Tariq is already literally the boss at that point.
yeah, but then we still have all of what happens in season 4, and then him telling Tasha that she no longer has to be in Witsec and he's going to move her someplace else and Jazz can be able to go to a great school. And I got to get you guys out of New York. We have to go someplace else. You can't stay in New York anymore. So where are they going to go?
Well, I doubt Chicago because if they end in force, they're not going to Chicago.
Yeah. And I tried to get some information out of Gary Lennon. I tried to get some information out of Justice Sakura. No one was answering because I want to
Obviously,
know.
they're not going to tell you that.
No, they're not gonna tell me where,
And they might
like
not know where they want to go because now they talking
exactly.
about
I think
movies.
that
They
they
talking
don't
about a
know.
power movie.
I don't think they know. I
Right.
don't think they've decided that yet. But in terms of what we do know that there is gonna be a spinoff between Justice Sakura and hopefully Michael Rainey Jr. Where it's gonna be set, we don't know yet. I don't think that they're gonna be back in Chicago. We don't even know if they're gonna be in New York, honestly. So at least
Do you
by
think
what happened in episode 410 from Ghost. Go ahead. What was your question?
I was gonna say, do you think I have two questions. Do you think Elisa Marie is gonna be in this season? Number one.
Huh.
In season 4 of Force, and then number 2,
3, season
they
3.
have been in talks about a power movie, and how do you feel about a power movie?
Oh man. So
Now this
Elisa
is coming
Marie.
from Joseph Mouth himself.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that to me, and I'm like, "Did he really?" Like, that's not what I took from that conversation. But so in
That's
terms of
exactly what I took from it.
Elisa Marie, um, I didn't see her casted in this season. I haven't seen any photos of her filming for this season. Um, and we watch these things like a hawk, more so than people who are not as ingrained in it. Have you seen pictures of her filming?
I'm not, but that don't mean she's not.
Have you been checking her Instagram page?
I have, but she's not gonna it's the same with, Paige Hurd, like, she literally disabled her Instagram during the time that she was filming.
Yeah, so that she wouldn't
Like, she
mistakenly
just went
post.
social media quiet during that time.
Right. But when we see things like that, we know that that's a sign of something, right? When Paige Heard did that, didn't we all speculate that something was happening? Because I remember people speculating like, "Oh, why did she deactivate her Instagram? What is she doing? Why did she do that?" That's what I remember at least. But I haven't seen the same thing for the actress who plays Elisa Marie, and I haven't seen her film anything. Now, if she does have a cameo appearance, it'll be great. I remember Courtney saying
It'll shut the
something.
internet down. It wouldn't just be
For
great.
people
The
who
internet was shut
remember
down.
for people who remember, I
Yo,
always have to
okay.
keep in
The first
mind.
thing they're gonna do is throw a hint at like, when you watch the trailer in the beginning of the episode, if they show Elisa Marie, she about to pop up.
We'll see if
Same way
Elisa
they did
Marie.
Gianna. Gianna, they showed Gianna, and then she popped up this episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I meant to bring that up earlier. So, I did ask another reason why I know that this whole Diamond Tommy thing is not going to last because Diamond doesn't have a love interest this season. And I asked him, is there time for him to have a love interest, for his character to have a love interest back at the Paley Fest? And he tried to play coy, but he's not getting one this season, but I'm glad that Gianna did pop back up, but he sent her away, and he's on a lone man mission right now, and he's just trying to get CBI back on track and to where he wants it to be.
Poor
So
Diamond. I
let me poor
well, I
Diamond. Let me finish
yeah.
answering your question though. Elisa Marie, if we do see her, it'll be for a split second. Excuse me. I do hope that she does make a cameo. I think that it'll be a great callback to the original Power. But if we actually see her, I don't know if it will be anything substantial. I think the most cameo that we will get, or the biggest cameo that we will get, would be Tariq. If we do see Elisa Marie, it will probably be in the spinoff that they have between Tariq and Tommy. In terms of a power movie, if there is gonna be a power movie, it'll probably be after this spinoff is complete. The spinoff with Tommy and Tariq.
I don't care how broke I am. I will be at that premiere.
You can have
For
my
the movie?
keys.
Oh my god.
You've been asking about a movie for years though, so I hope it does happen for you.
Thank you. I'm like, yo, like this don't make no sense how we haven't gotten one yet.
They could tell the story over 10 episodes instead of 2 condensed hours. Like, the movie would just
Yeah,
have
but it
to be
don't
the
have to be
finale.
like no main character. Yeah, but it don't have to be no main character. You could have some characters, drop in here and there. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I just listen, I don't feel like it could hurt. The most they gonna spend in the movie is maybe what, 20 million. They gonna make about 100 million. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully they make the money
Hopefully.
back. Yeah.
Alrighty. So, we didn't do 3 things this episode, but we kinda did at the same time, but we could do it really, really quick. Let's see if we can get it done in 2 minutes. So give me instead of doing 3, give me 2. What's 2 things that you loved about this episode?
DMAC, 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 and DMAC.
And give me 2 things that you didn't like about the episode.
Oh man. Two things I did not like about the episode. Stacey Marks, of course. I mean, it was a good scene though, but yeah, I don't know. Two things I didn't. I don't know. I really liked the episode. I just didn't like how slow he chopped his finger off. It made it seem like it was cake. Like he was just like, like bro, like just chop the finger off. Like
You ever see those Instagram memes where you have to tell the difference between if it's cake or if it's real? That's what it looked like. So the finger did look like cake.
yeah, literally. He chopped that shit so slow. I'm just like, bro, what are you doing?
And we can always depend on Miguel for a good
But yeah,
torture
I don't know.
scene.
But literally. Yeah, that's when you see the lights dim, I'm like, oh, here we go. Somebody about to get tortured.
Soon as you see the lights dim, we know that there's a torture scene coming. All right. So 2 things that I liked about the episode. First thing is there was no Shanti in this episode. Shanti annoys me so much. I love the actress that plays her,
I love Shanti.
but Shanti bothers me so much. Another thing that I loved about the episode, I like that Tommy has someone like Maria. I don't understand why she likes him or why she wants to be with him, but I do like that he has a love interest and he has some sort of family to keep him grounded or something to come home to. Because when Tommy didn't have anyone, it sent him down a crazy spiral and he was just a killing machine and he didn't listen to reason. He was just on a rampage. In terms of other things that I didn't like about the episode, I definitely
Tommy's still on a rampage.
he is,
You know
but
how many bodies he had this season?
Tommy's gonna kill. That's what he does. But in terms of killing for no reason, like remember when he beat up Grimace for no reason? Like when he went on that coke binge after Holly died and he beat up Grimace? Like that was just so uncalled for. And then I think he had headbutt Julio. He was just doing too much. But whatever the case is, things that I didn't like about the episode, I didn't like that line that Claudia had when she had to shake the girl. I hated that scene. And I know that you liked it. And then another thing that I didn't like or that I wasn't the hugest fan of was was the pig. It reminded me of Hannibal when he remember that movie Hannibal with Sir Anthony Hopkins and they had trained the wild hogs to eat people and I was just like, oh, I don't want to go through this again. But yeah. So those are my things. I want to thank Sam from Power is Fire for joining us this week. Any last thoughts before we close out?
Oh yes, I had one in my head just now. Oh, what was it? I can't remember. It's all right.
It's okay. Well, the alliances are forming and some are breaking. Family is falling apart and some are coming together. Tommy is slipping, but Not completely. And Miguel is tightening his grip. Huge shout out to Sam from Power is Fire for coming through today. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. So, Power fans, if you are ready, please don't forget to chime in on what you thought about the episode and leave comments for us. Definitely follow us at Chronicles of Power, and you can definitely find Sam at Power is Fire on Instagram and all socials. I am Keemie, and this has been Chronicles of Power. See you next week for episode 3.